Greetings, beloved brothers and sisters. I wish to speak to you today about growth and also about discomfort. The nature of the ego is such that it sees its role as one of maximizing pleasure and minimizing pain or discomfort. Consequently, if you take your advice from the thoughts that you get, the goal will be to not feel pain and to feel pleasure. Pleasure could be physical, emotional, spiritual. Anything that uplifts you is to be cherished, and anything that makes you feel uncomfortable is to be avoided or eschewed in some way. The problem with that is that it's antithetical to how the universe works and towards the orientation that is life itself, which is growth and expansion of consciousness endlessly. So any idea of putting the brakes on that, like this is really great right now, can't we just stay here, will actually move you away from the movement of life. Life is only happening in the moment. Time, as you've heard, is an illusion. So when you take an orientation, for instance, when you take a conservative orientation towards life, you have this nostalgic, good feeling about the way things were, and you wish life now would be more like the way they were when you were younger, when things were different. And that gives you great comfort. If I could just get them back to the way they were. When you have a progressive orientation, you don't like the way things are right now, but you wish they were better in the future, and you hope and you believe that they could be better in the future. Ironically, neither of those things are possible to bring about unless you're willing to stay in the moment. Unfortunately, in the moment, with the orientation of growth, is some discomfort. If you avoid the discomfort, you won't grow. So there's a little bit of a bind here, because you could orient your life around the following belief: I don't think anyone should ever be uncomfortable, ever. And that's how we should comport ourselves around our brothers and sisters. No one should ever feel bad, ever. If I find out that something I said makes you feel bad, then I have to stop doing that. You can see where that is very, very limiting. And right now, there are people who are just going around finding things that offend them and then insisting that other people stop doing that, because feelings are all important and no one should feel uncomfortable. But if you do that, first of all, you completely lose your sense of humor. But you also lose your connection to the ever-expanding growth of life. The answer is to have a different relationship with discomfort. When the body experiences pain, it can be a very valuable signal. For instance, take your hand away from that hot stove, or you just pulled a muscle. Stop doing what you're doing, rest it. All of that is extremely valuable. And I'm not saying everyone should value pain above all else. But discomfort accompanies growth. You actually can't have one without the other. You'll see it everywhere in nature. When a little crab in a bay somewhere tries to grow, sooner or later the calcification of the crab's shell will prevent the growth. And if it keeps growing and keeps growing, it will be very uncomfortable inside that hard shell. That's why crabs slough their shell and become soft shell crabs. That's the only chance they have to grow, even though at that stage of their existence, they're quite vulnerable. But that's what allows for expansion. It's the willingness to slough off something because it's so uncomfortable. Similarly, there's a discomfort of a little chick inside of an egg. And it pecks and pecks and pecks and pecks until it breaks this hard shell. Why does it do that? Because it's continuing to grow inside the egg and can no longer stay there. So it must put up with the discomfort of cracking that shell. You can see this everywhere in nature. Butterflies flexing their wings to become stronger. None of this is comfortable. If you decide that you want to stop growth and you don't want things to change, you will suffer. That's where suffering comes from. The unwillingness to change, the unwillingness to have a relationship with discomfort such that it can pass. Sometimes women, just before they give birth, when they start experiencing labor pains, have this thought, I didn't sign up for this. I don't want to do this. I'm not sure I really want to go through with this. But at that point, something larger is happening than just discomfort. Something is emerging, something is coming forth, and discomfort is part of that. And the answer is to have a different relationship with discomfort such that you see it as part of growth and that you're willing to endure whatever it takes to bring about something greater. When the baby comes, the previous discomfort of labor is soon forgotten because the birth of this new being brings forth such joy and such relief and such peace and such wonder that the discomfort really falls into the background. I bring this up because many people are getting nervous and uncomfortable with the changes that they've heard are coming. And they heard that there will be upheavals and disruptions and possible painful displacement of what seems normal and natural. My recommendation is that you be about the present and allow for discomfort. You'll know what to do. You'll be guided. What is being birthed is so much better and so much more important than any particular temporary discomfort you may feel over the next little while. Much the same way that the birth of a child brings a kind of joy you could not have imagined when you were just engrossed in your discomfort. Allow for growth, allow for change, allow for discomfort. You don't need to lean into it, but you also shouldn't avoid it. Do the best you can to help yourself and to help others through perhaps a difficult time. It will be short-lived. And on the other side of that, the clearing that your willingness to endure this discomfort will bring about will more than offset any temporary pain you might experience. Stay in the moment and let yourself have a little bit of a different relationship with discomfort than you've had before, so that you see it as part of what it takes to get you where you're going. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon.